Anthony Joshua brutally knocks out Robert Helenius in the 7th round. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Boxingego full fight recap and breakdown. I want to give you guys the results and my thoughts on them. Anthony Joshua delivered in the 7th round a nasty knockout. He went to the body, it looked like, and then he came up top with the right hand and sat Robert Helenius down, and it was over. Kind of weird, like, congrats to Anthony Joshua on his victory. The fight in and of itself was kind of weird, which I'll break down. But even weirder, after he knocked him out, I don't even know if they did a count, which is cool, because he wasn't getting up. And Joshua did the Degeneration X from wrestling, the suck it, and then he immediately hopped out the ring and he started walking with a bloody nose and talking to the UK crowd and dapping them up. Like, he didn't wipe his nose. Like, you know what I'm saying? Most people probably go to a corner, get a towel, just so you don't get blood on people. You know what I'm saying? You want to take pictures with fans and you bleeding. Now, speaking of bleeding, Robert Helenius wasn't really doing bad in the fight until he was doing bad when he got knocked out. So I give you guys in my post-fight breakdowns the good, the bad, and the ugly. The good for Joshua is he got a knockout. This is his first knockout in about 2.5 years. So he broke that dry spell of no knockouts, and he has a new trainer, so this is his first knockout with new trainer. The good is Joshua, he won, and he won by knockout. So change of opponent. I mean, I got some critiques, but I can't overly, I'm not going to overdo it, because the reality of the situation is this, and I'm always a fair critic, is Anthony Joshua wasn't supposed to be fighting Robert Helenius. He was supposed to fight Dillian Whyte. And I think Dillian Whyte presents different things. Dillian Whyte is not as tall as Robert Helenius, but, all in all, Joshua got it done, figured it out. I think there was some good corner advice from Derek James. Joshua in, I think, round 6 in the corner, he told Derek James, I can't find him with my right. I'm having trouble landing my right hand. You think you can help me or whatever? And Derek James was like, just keep shooting it. Just like, keep trying. Jab, jab, set everything up with the jab. So I really liked the cerebral nature and the calmness of Derek James, and his advice to Joshua played out, because literally right after that advice, whatever this corner moment where he was saying these things, just keep shooting it and, get a little bit more aggressive, things like that, Joshua produced a nice little highlight reel knockout. So let's talk about the bad and the ugly. I don't got anything too ugly, so I'll just say more bad for this particular result show. The bad was, the UK commentary is just bloody awful. It is horrible to listen to. It's extremely biased. They started off the telecast and then they were saying stuff like, oh, Anthony Joshua, he needs a knockout. He needs to go in and basically kind of outdo Deontay Wilder and get the knockout, yada, yada, yada. But then towards the end, before the knockout came, in rounds 5, 6, or 7, before the knockout, you heard the commentators, Tony Bellew said, oh, I think Joshua just wants to get some rounds in for practice, which sounds extremely dumb to me, because you got a late replacement who you didn't train exclusively for. You had a training camp, but you didn't know up until Dillian Whyte failed his PED test that was going to be your opponent. So you haven't trained for this particular style. If you are a guy who possesses power, surely like Anthony Joshua does, you don't keep someone in the ring longer than they need to be. Fighters always say it, like, I don't get paid by the hour. You don't get paid by the rounds. You don't get overtime if it goes to the championship rounds. So if you have and possess the skill and talent and power, then you need to try to get that person out of there, because the longer they are in there, the more dangerous it is, because Robert Helenius looked like he was growing in confidence. He definitely looked like he was growing in confidence. And you had the UK commentators basically cop and please saying that, oh, if Joshua wanted at any moment, he can get him out of there. But it was clear to me that Joshua was just struggling with Robert Helenius. Robert Helenius came, he had a different approach than the Wilder fight. He wasn't really as aggressive. He was trying to box and counterpunch and, make it his fight. And I personally think Robert Helenius, all things considered, he didn't do half bad. He was busting up Joshua's face. Joshua had a swollen eye, bruising around the eye, and his nose was splattered with blood by the end of the fight in round 7. Joshua, credit to him, he stayed calm, pulled the trigger, nice, beautiful right hand, a punch he's kind of known for, and he set it up well, nice knockout. But nonetheless, he didn't outdo Wilder. And I said this going into the fight, that it was kind of a weird pick for Eddie Hearn and Anthony Joshua to fight a guy like Robert Helenius, because in his last 2 fights or so, he was getting knocked out by Wilder. And literally, I said this, you can go check my tweets to verify, at Boxingego on Twitter or X. And I literally said this before the fight, that this is almost a lose-lose situation, because there's no way you could outdo Wilder, because Wilder was on the retreat and he was just moving, and he literally threw like 2 punches, and the second punch knocked out Robert Helenius brutally with a right hand in the first round. I mean, that becomes almost impossible to outdo. Wilder threw very few punches and made it a short night in the first round. So to go 7 rounds, to get bruised and bloody nosed and stuff, even though Joshua did get the knockout himself, you know, you not, the other difference too is Wilder had a full camp to fight and train for Helenius, as did Helenius, and the 2 were sparring partners. And I think Helenius sparred Joshua as well. But the big difference here is Wilder was coming off a Tyson Fury loss, so he knew that he was fighting Robert Helenius, and Robert Helenius had a full camp to train for him. Robert Helenius that I just saw gave Joshua uber problems for the first 6 rounds. Then it looked like he started getting tired because he probably didn't have a full camp. And I know he fought last week, but he had like a little small fight. It looked like he was in prison or a dungeon or something. It looked like Wesley Snipes and Ving Rhames in Undisputed. It looked like he was in some kind of castle fighting, and that was a short night. So you don't necessarily really work on your cardio for a non-major fight like that. And I think Helenius held up well until he didn't, until the 7th round. But he was definitely live in the fight, and his jab, he had a left jab that was really pawing and hurting Joshua's eye. So it is what it is. They're talking about making a Joshua Wilder fight. Bring it on. But from what I'm seeing, I have to rock with Wilder. Wilder at least knows who he is as a fighter. Yes, he's working with Malik Scott and he's trying to implement some different things. But at the core of it, I think Wilder knows who he is. Joshua, it's like ever since the Ruiz loss, I feel like something's, it's just like when you eat something and it's missing an ingredient and you're like, what is this missing? Like, it doesn't taste horrible, but it's noticeably missing. It's not like maybe it needs some garlic powder or something, like something is missing, you know, and you're trying to figure it out. And that's just kind of how I felt about Joshua. He's bounced around, left Rob McCracken, then he went to Robert Garcia, now he's with Derek James. And just his demeanor, everything just seems different. When he first came out and came through the gates, he was knocking dudes out left and right. He was knocking out dudes. He looked very explosive. Now you see him and he doesn't look as explosive. He's also changed his weight a bunch of times. Like sometimes, like the Joshua Ruiz rematch, he comes in at a lower weight and he looks really trim and muscular. But then fights like the Helenius fight, he looked big and brolic and looked big, like big as ever, is one of his career highest weigh-ins with the Klitschko fight. So I don't know if Joshua has an identity, you know what I mean? But nonetheless, I would like to see it. He kind of dodged the question. They asked him about Wilder, and he said he said his back hurts. I thought he was going to pay homage to Mike Tyson, like it's spinal. But he went a different route and said he's carrying the heavyweight division. I mean, whatever. Congrats to Joshua on the performance. I think Robert Helenius, all things considered, gave him more issues than people expected, especially since he only had a week to train for the fight and, you know, had Joshua bleeding and stuff. But, you know, this is a game about winning. Joshua won and he gets to build from it, and we'll see what's next. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Best in the business, and I'm out. Introducing Super Thanks. Right here on the official Boxing Ego YouTube. Super Thanks allows you, the viewers, to show a little bit of extra gratitude, which enables me as a full-time content creator to push out the content you need in the world of boxing. Underneath all the videos, you will see a heart with the $sign in it. You can enter any amount that you find suitable as a super thanks. A brand new interactive and colorful way to get your comments highlighted and noticed by not only myself, but other people on the YouTube platform. Super thanks, a unique and cool way to show and applaud us full-time content creators. Hopefully you guys enjoy the content. Super thanks. The future is now. The Hibernation 5s by Kenichi Bear. Hybrid gaming and lifestyle headphones. Out of the box, you can connect to any console or PC. Bluetooth ready with a low latency USB adapter, color RGB, and extreme bass mode. The Hibernation 5s adjust to you. Whether you need a gaming, travel, gym, or lifestyle headphones, the Hibernations got you covered. The new Hibernation 5s, link in the description. Customize the way you hear the world. Welcome to the nation. Are you tired of your YouTube videos not getting any views? Well, consider TubeBuddy. I've used TubeBuddy for years to scale up my YouTube channel. Now we're sitting over 200,000 subscribers. TubeBuddy is a browser extension that offers a ton of built-in productivity and time-saving services to take your channel to the next level. Use my link in the description to get started with TubeBuddy and level up your channel faster. We working.